to that.
Hey guys, I'm Karina.
And I'm much better, Eric.
And welcome back to the Late Podcast. The law according to Eric. This episode we are COVID free. We're all back in the same room. I can see Eric now. Eric can see my facial expressions when we're reading the things. So we're back into it. So how are you feeling, Eric?
I definitely feel better. I know I still might sound a little under the weather, but I was able to test negative 3 times yesterday. I checked just to make sure. Twice yesterday and once this morning.
Yes.
So at the very least, I don't think I'm contagious anymore or anything like that.
Right.
So just in the nick of time for our Friday episode, and then maybe one day next week we'll have Nepo Baby back on. Well, we couldn't have him come into the office this week. So anyway.
All right. Well, as a lawyer, I think you know today's topic very well, which is there's always 2 sides to a story.
Actually, there's an old saying, right? And I'm not joking. I learned this my first year of law school, second year of law school. One of our professors said, one of 2 lawyers is always going to be wrong on any given day.
Right.
And it's just that simple. I go up and I make my argument. He goes up and makes his argument, or he or she. Judge decides who's right that day. Right. And that's it. One of 2 lawyers is always going to be wrong on any one given day.
Exactly.
So yeah, there usually are 2 sides to every story. So. All
right. So are you ready to jump in, or you have a dad joke today?
No, okay. I don't know. Should we just stop with it?
We could stop those.
Honestly, I keep forgetting.
Me too.
I don't know. I feel like now to bring one up, and I like scramble, and I find like a lawyer dad joke, and there's like a million of them. You know what? Fuck it. It's whatever.
All right.
Okay.
So how we're going to do this episode is I went through Reddit and I found stories where someone has put the other side and what their POV was. So I will read. I only pulled 5 stories because, you know,
there's double,
sides.
right?
Yeah.
2 sides to it. Okay.
Exactly. So we'll start with the first one. Story number 1. This is the mom's POV.
Okay.
Her title is, I told my sons I wish I never gave birth to them.
It's a pretty savage thing to say.
Right.
Okay. This gangster mom. Damn.
No, her first sentence. I don't regret it. No, that's the first sentence. I don't regret it.
Damn. Okay.
I don't feel bad. I don't care how many times they come to my door to apologize. I let them and their father bully me for years. Call me all kinds of names, how they reject every present I ever bought them because it wasn't brand new or super expensive, despite me having to go hungry sometimes to even afford what I could get them. I come to their father's house one day to say happy birthday and they ignore me. I tried to give them a hug and I got pushed away. Their father told me to stop annoying them on their 16th birthday for God's sake. I got them both Nintendo Switches for their birthdays, and I set them my carefully wrapped presents on the table as they opened it last. When they saw it, they said, "Really? That's it?" I looked confused and asked what's wrong. Was it the color this time? Or maybe they expected games too. No one fucking plays Nintendo, you fucking dinosaur. They said dinosaur. You guys never text me. I don't know what you guys want, and I know you broke the one you shared, so I got you your own. I told them. They set the presents I had to starve myself for on the table, and everyone went inside for cake. I finally realized that they don't care. They really don't care. Why did it take me years to realize? I don't know, but I do now. I took the Switches and headed out for the door. Their dad stopped me and in front of everyone said, "Hey, where are you going? You're leaving your kids on their birthday?" "Let her go. It won't make a difference," one of my boys said. Everyone laughed. Everyone fucking laughed. I started to tear up and my son's aunt told me to stop being such a big baby and hold the phone for pictures. I got angry and yelled in front of everyone. I hate you all. I'm tired of this family abusing me, using my trauma against me, and making me feel fucking small because I'm not rich and spoiled. I've done nothing but love this family, but because I'm built like a child, I can't sit with the adults. No one came to my birthday. Why should I be here? No one cares about me, but y'all won't bat an eye if I fucking died, would you? Then I looked my boys dead in the eyes and said, I hate you both too. I wish I never fucking had you. I ran out to my car and I left. I blocked them all. The next day I heard a knock on my door and saw my kid's father. He begged me to come to his house and talk to our kids. He says that they're so sorry. Yeah, I've never heard this come out of their mouths, so I'm not interested. That was 3 days ago, and ever since then, he's come to my door and asked me to forgive them. But I won't. I don't think I can. Sorry for any errors, she says that she wrote it. But that was her. So just reading her side, what do you think?
Okay, hearing only her side of it. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot that I think she's dead right on.
Right.
Okay. Nobody is expected to simply put up with being poorly treated.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people do for the sake of the bigger picture of the family,
right,
and all that, and I get that,
Right.
And sometimes you just reach a breaking point and you know what? Enough's enough.
Right.
Some of it, though, is she brought on herself. So I guess they're separated or divorced, right? So, and I don't know if the kids live with the dad.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's what it's, I'm gathering all that. Okay. So she already has that sort of competition stigma. There's a reason she wasn't given custody.
Exactly.
Right. We don't know. I don't know what it is yet. I just say normally, right? Moms don't lose custody of children.
Harder.
Yeah. That's number one. Number two, if you can't afford certain things, then just don't buy them.
Exactly.
I mean, I would never advocate to somebody, don't pay your rent this month. Don't buy yourself food.
Exactly.
Right. Don't buy your meds so you can buy your kids a bougier gift.
Exactly.
No, you just don't do that. You do what you can and from the heart. And if they're ungrateful or they bitch at you about it, then I think at that point you have the absolute right to sit them down and say, listen, you ungrateful shits.
Exactly.
Right. So far, I mean, what do I think? So far, I think she's not completely wrong.
Okay.
Right. But I could, oh my God, I could like fucking Karina's smile. That's what, every episode I point out that these are all written from a solo perspective.
Right.
Right. And they're meant to persuade the internet to be on their side.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, all right. That's all I'm going to say about this. All right. Go ahead. Hit me with the rest.
Daughter's point of view.
Daughter. Okay. So that's, none of these sons.
No.
So I guess she's got at least 3 kids.
Yes.
Okay.
Her title was, I Hate My Mom and How She Convinced Thousands of People That She's the Victim. Okay. I, 23 female, am no longer in contact with my mom, Jane, because of years of abuse, manipulation, fear-mongering, and hatred. I was conceived through a one-night stand. Jane couldn't get in contact with the guy, and she carried on and raised me as a single mother until she met someone. And God, did she let me know it. She made sure to tell me how unwanted, unlovable, and disgusting I was. She admitted to neglecting me as an infant and toddler and how she would essentially have screaming matches with me. When I was 5, she met William, and they fell in love. They got married within a year, and William adopted me after his sons, John and Oscar, the 2 16-year-olds, were born. I was 7. The relationship moved very fast, and I believed it caused a lot of turmoil. I truly believe the pregnancy was a trap for William, but that's speculation and opening a whole other kind of worms. During the pregnancy, Jane would have tantrums about having twins, how she only wanted one, and how she only would love the first one that came out. This was a new side to her William had never seen before, and he shut that down quickly. Well, she kept her promise and only gave attention to one, Oscar. John was completely neglected by her other than to feed. She had intense PPD, and that's not her fault, but what is how she handled it. She refused to get help and claimed that PPP is for insane and bad mothers. At some point, when the boys were a year or so old, she was admitted into the hospital for having intense thoughts about hurting herself and others. She was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and PPP. She spent 5 months in a hospital/mental health facility, and for those 5 months, she was gone. I had never felt so much love from another person in my life. Bearing in mind, I was just 8. All I had known was yelling and emotional abuse. When she got out, both sides of the family had a big sit down and told her their expectations. It was all doable. Go to therapy, take her meds, and make her a list of emergency contacts who she could call if she was feeling a little bit too much. She had a great support system. Jane had locked herself in the bathroom and wouldn't come out one time when I was 11 because John was upset. Remember, she hates John. She had also thrown a ton of stuff around in a fit of rage because I had probably shouldn't have taken Oscar to the shop if she can't walk straight. William packed all of our shit up that night and we left for his mother's. Jane was not happy about that when he found out she had thrown shit around at me. He was furious. He filed for divorce the following Monday, and the court gave him full custody with mandated visitations from Jane. I remember crying myself to sleep when I found that out. We moved out of Grandma's house and into a nice flat where we seemed to get our life together. Other than the visitations, we were good, until William got a new job and we had to move across the city. This set Jane off again, who up until this point had been on mostly good behavior. We moved closer to William's sister and her family, and they all knew about Jane, but we all tried to move forward. Things were good for a couple of years, but then I turned 16. The day after my 16th, I got a text from Jane telling me that she's moving out and I need to pack all of my stuff from my old room. I went, stupidly, and began putting things into piles. Jane just stood in the doorway and eventually began bawling her eyes out. She began to apologize for all the abuse she inflicted on me as an infant toddler and how... Oh, she'll pick it up. Yeah. She blames herself for my numerous mental health issues. This was all leading up to asking if I could ever forgive her. I said no, and I said she might feel guilty, but she's stuck in the cycle that she's abused the boys as well. She lost her mind and kicked me out. It got really bad, whatever. This is a whole lot of other stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna get down to the point.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, this is a diary for this person.
Okay, but here I think it's okay. Okay, he said he didn't want to inflict necessary emotional damage onto them, so the boys never knew. Then, on their 16th, she shows up, which was weird because she'd never showed up to anything. I kept my distance and stayed in the kitchen, but I could still see and hear everything. I was shaking in fear and had to run to the bathroom at one point. She bought them both Nintendo Switches. Yes, They both opened her presents last and both politely thanked her. There was no insults being thrown around, and no one said, let her go, it won't make a difference. The atmosphere was stifling. In fact, it was Jane who yelled and insulted first. She started calling the twins ungrateful brats because they didn't give her a better reaction. And the second she stood up to yell, William and my aunt began to push her outside. As she was being pushed, she points at the twins and yelled, you're both fucking ungrateful, unlovable little cunts, and my biggest regret is not aborting you when I had the chance.
This mom should just fucking hang herself.
Yeah, but that's what she was saying. She's like, this is actually the true story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Look, there's probably a bit of truth to both sides.
Right. There's always three sides, right?
Yeah, right. His, hers, and the truth.
Yeah.
But it sounds a lot more like Mom Jane is overreacting to things that might be more normal for teenage behavior to be.
Yeah.
And has internalized it. This is probably more her own guilt manifesting over how she was, and now she's looking to deflect it on these others. Oh my God, if Jennifer listens to this one, she's gonna be so impressed with like all my
look at that. Jen will have a lot to say about this.
I know, like my psychological buzzwords, deflecting.
Exactly.
But look, at the end of the day, this is a sick bitch. Okay, that's all there is to it. I'm serious.
Yeah.
This is one sick bitch.
She is.
And let's pretend that the first pregnancy was or wasn't whatever. And I mean, who knows? Okay, and maybe it wasn't a trap, and maybe it really, with the kid, they got married, and at some point, again, when you first mentioned that the dad has custody
of all three.
But if he adopted the daughter, then but again, that's the red flag.
Mm-hmm.
There's usually a very strong reason for that.
Exactly.
So look, none of us really know everything that happened, right? But if I were to judge both sides of that,
right, you have both sides now.
Yeah, and this is like, the daughter that's not the subject of the gift issue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm leaning with daughter, and I think, Mama Jane is.
Do you want to know how the daughter found the story?
Oh, yeah.
She was listening to a podcast, and they read that story. And she was like, wait.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. And that's when she came out. It was like months later that she had heard it. And that's when she was like, sorry, the timing seems so weird. But yeah, she found it through a podcast. Imagine if someone found like a story through our podcast.
Interesting. Well, if we do, let us know. We'll further explore it.
Karina
loves looking into shit like this. So.
I do. I love drama.
That's what I'm saying. So no problem. If it's out there and you let us know, we'll look for it. We'll try to help you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But yeah, that was the first one. So yeah, I also think it's the mom's. How many dingleberries of asshole do you think the mom would be? I feel like the mom's an asshole here, though. You don't say that to your kids.
Yeah, I know. You really don't. I don't know. That's tough.
Okay. Story number 2. So this is the husband's POV, and he named it A Rock and a Hard Place. Okay. Hi, Reddit. I'm in a committed long-term relationship with a wonderful human I met in college. So many lovely adventures and fond memories. Significant other is great, super supportive of what I do, loves unconditionally, and would never leave anyone stranded. She stayed with me through some of my lowest with my careers and mental health. Huge reason as to why we're getting married. Recently, I encountered someone on a work trip. At the time, I had no thoughts of making a mistake, and there were no situations on where that would have happened. I may have developed a crush, though. I left it alone and chalked it up to infatuation by proximity. Maybe just some physical urge. Maybe just the circumstance of the trip.
Maybe all of those things, right?
But nonetheless, he left it alone.
I know. I'm sure he did.
It's been
4 months. Or maybe
months.
Just the fucking idea of some strange, right, got you all excited. But okay, right. But let's not put that down there, right? I know. Everybody goes in with like the most innocent intentions, right?
Exactly.
I know.
It's almost like, right?
It's almost like, right? Just wanting a little hookup without having that baby, but then there you go.
There you go.
All right, first one, buddy. First one, got you.
It's been 4 months since that trip, and I find myself.
I'm sorry. By the way, it's not lost on me that now Karina's the one that starts off with. It's almost like this is just so good.
I think it's funny now.
It is so good. Oh my God, we're gonna do this like for our entire podcast career. Everything is gonna have it. It's almost like. All right, go ahead. Almost. All right. My when I was in Vegas last week, where I picked up COVID, my niece Lovely even said that to me like as a joke.
It's almost like.
No, Uncle Eric. It's almost like. Oh my God, she's listening. Like my brother's playing this. It's like my fucking 13-year-old niece. But,
my niece tried to listen to it, and her mom said, "This is not for you."
Oh, like after the 10th F-bomb? Yeah, probably not. All right.
Okay. It's been 4 months since that trip, and I find myself captivated by my coworker. Sex appeal isn't necessarily a factor here. When we talk, I just feel emotionally engaged. I find myself going above and beyond to help her with her projects and make active efforts to talk about / hear from them. To make it worse, they're in a relationship with a mutual friend of mine and my significant others as well. I haven't said a peep about it to my significant other or my coworker. I'm still trying to process it. I've never dealt with anyone like this before. Is it even possible to be in love with more than one person at a time? I'm confused, guilty, frustrated, all at the same time. I don't have ill intent and I don't want to home wreck. And I certainly am not going to act on impulse. What the hell should I do? So then he did an update in a month.
Okay.
Coworker has said via text that they love me and I reciprocated. Has also since called me and told me that they were thinking of me and wanted to hear my voice.
And I reciprocated.
Yep.
Okay. This is a guy who was like, yo, I was just there for work, right? Like
she said she loved me. I had to say I loved her back.
Right. It's like, isn't that mandatory?
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
I think it's time to break this off with my significant other.
You think?
Yeah. And I don't expect coworker to do the same, nor do I expect to end up with my coworker. But it isn't fair to my significant other. Okay.
Yeah, that's a lie.
That's just
first of all. No. Okay, but that's a lie. He absolutely expects to end up with his coworker.
Of course.
Right? And that's why he's breaking it off. Let me just drop a little bit of the bro code. Okay.
Well, this is now your
all right,
the husband's piece because that's done. Yeah.
All right. So let me just say this is a little bit of the bro code. Okay. And this doesn't go for everybody. Okay. But I don't believe that bros would drop their regular strange unless they know for sure
that someone's
they've got a replacement.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So the idea that I think I might have to break up with Lucinda because, Gabriella is, she might be my one, but I don't expect it. Like bullshit. Okay.
Yes, you did.
He's literally weighing the options. He's like, okay.
You waited for her to say she loved you.
That's right. And the bottom line is all he's going to do is figure out who's the brighter sunshine, and that's where he's going to end up. That's what I think is really going on here.
Okay.
You can sugarcoat this any fucking way you want, bro. Okay, Billy, you're just all you want is the better sunlight. That's it.
Yep.
That's what I think.
Okay.
All right.
So is that all your thoughts on the husband's one before we go to the wives?
Well, and that he has a propensity to cheat anyway. I mean, that's clearly was his intention.
Okay.
That's what I mean. Like when they start off by,
She's so great. She loved me. She's been through me.
I know,
whatever.
thick and thin, and I would never in a million years. I mean, I had to go because of work, and bullshit.
Exactly.
I mean, you might have had to go because of work.
But you didn't have to go and exactly.
Okay. Yeah. But by the way, pro tip, guys, if you do travel for work, right, and you know that you have the propensity to, order some room service, make sure you protect yourself so you don't end up with like 3 different kids from 3 different moms or whatever. Just saying.
I was watching a show where the wife says that her husband's on business. He's actually gay, and he meets up with like a gay guy at the hotels. She was caught by the neighbor.
See, okay, but let me tell you, there's actually more of that than I think people realize.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much today because it's so much more accepted, but my generation and the generation, like my dad's generation,
they'll hide that shit.
Closeted men got married and had kids and just had these side hustles for years.
Yep.
And I mean, sometimes they get caught. There was a whole movie made about that. It was called Brokeback Mountain. No, I'm serious, but it was really about these 2 rough, rugged cowboys, one from like Wyoming and one from Texas that like worked cattle ranches. Right, but they were secretly closeted and they each had wives and kids, but they would try to see each other once every year or two, and they were deeply, truly in love. I mean, it wasn't, and it was actually a beautiful movie, but that's the idea. Like that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Again, it's more accepted today.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah. So
I mean, at least in like California.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to Montana, you may still have,
Exactly. Don't go down too far south.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That was the whole thing too. Like they would say, like the cowboys from Texas that were in the closet would go to Mexico.
Yeah.
To get like their little Mexican boy thing on, and this in the movie, the one of them got caught coming back, and they basically beat him to death and left him in the field.
Oh shit!
Yeah, because that's how they do it in Texas, apparently.
Yeah,
right?
They don't play that.
They don't steal horses and don't blow. Men don't blow men. I mean, that's
exactly. And love football.
And high school football.
Yeah, high school football. They take that shit so seriously. Oh my god.
More than fucking pro. I know. We're on such a tangent.
I know.
Sorry. Okay. So let's. All right. Sorry. Let's second half. All right.
Wife's POV.
Wives. Okay. Wait. Wife or girlfriend? So they actually got married?
No. This is his wife. The one.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you're right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. That's right.
So. She started out with, my now former fiance, 28 male, came here for advice months ago on his emotional affair and never said a word to me, 28 female. I don't really know what to say about it. We just relocated halfway across the country, and I don't know anyone here. I think it's gross that he involved me in this emotional affair, and he wanted me to be friends with her, asked me to help him put a care package together for her birthday, which is how I knew something was off. He never does stuff like that. We even went away on a couple's weekend with her and her boyfriend in June before we moved. It felt so slimy. I found their cutesy messages a few weeks ago, and he acknowledged that it was wrong, but denied any connection. Just said that he was struggling and being self-destructive and looking for validation. I stayed because he convinced me that it was related to his mental health, and he wanted us to try to get to a good place. This morning, I found this Reddit post where he said that they've told each other that they love each other, and he was asking advice on how to deal with the guilt of loving us both. He wrote that he was going to end things with me, but he posted that 2 months ago, and he never said anything. That was before I even found out the first text. Why not just let me end it when I confronted him about it instead of convincing me and stay and dragging me through all of this? How about before I moved 1,600 miles away with him? How about before you pursued her at all? I ended it this morning and he didn't argue because he doesn't love me anymore. And I guess I kind of just can't fathom that. I'm not shocked that we weren't in a good place. So much background I don't want to include, but I am shocked that he would do something like this to me. We've been together for 8 years and I thought we had a solid friendship underneath it all. I'm going to be okay and I know I deserve better and I'll end up with someone who actually loves me. But I just don't understand what happened. So how can we be here now? The betrayal I feel, I just don't know how to describe it. Just wanted to share my story so you guys could know.
You know what? Good for her. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
No. I mean, that is an extremely difficult situation to be in. And she, at least to the internet, comes across, right, like she's really taking this in stride and she's not like blowing herself up over this. And
she's not fighting him over it. Right. She's not fighting her.
Kind of accepted, right? I'm going to be okay. And
I'll find someone else.
And, you know, and that's kind of, I think, the bigger point here. Like people that deserve, look, nobody, well, I take that back. I do think that there are people that deserve misery.
There are, definitely.
Yeah. But most people, I think, for the most part, are generally good. Mm-hmm. Yes, there are people that are inherently bad. Right. There are people that make bad choices. Right. Mm-hmm. There are people that are good people that have had bad things happen to them. Exactly. I mean, you can kind of subdivide this any way you want. But generally speaking, right, I think that most people just deserve to be happy and to find happiness. Yeah. And it's kind of a personal post in a lot of ways to myself, you know, to me, because I went through some of that, you know, some of the, you know, the unhappiness for a long time, and finally getting to a point, it's like, you know what, I have to do this for me. You know, I have to separate, and I probably consider myself to be one of the lucky ones because I was able to find somebody that I have a very, you know, loving, caring relationship with today. Now, the key difference, is that wasn't the cause of my separation.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. You know, that's a little different. This sounds more like this guy kind of let himself go on this journey.
But the manipulation would be like, oh, it's my depression. I just wanted validation.
Well, he's trying to justify the behavior.
Exactly.
Look, it may not be completely false. Right. Okay. Especially but it sounds almost like they were just such good friends, you know, that maybe the guilt, you know, was eating away at him so much that he had to sort of,
can't do it.
Yeah. It's just like, look, it's not you, it's me. And I don't know why. I was just so nervous. Exactly. I think those are things that people generally say to make other people hate them less.
Exactly. Because they know they fucked up.
Right. I mean, just to be frank here, you know, the fact that she's taken this very positive, like, I'm not going to let this define me background, you know, sort of, not background, not let this define me approach.
Yeah. She stood on business.
Yeah. It just tells me she's much more mature, I think, than he is.
Yeah.
Again, his reaction, I don't think is completely abnormal. Right. I think a lot of people don't want to cause pain or harm to others.
Like he said, he was confused.
I know.
I love both of them.
Yeah, I know. No, he doesn't. It's not a question. It's bullshit.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Look, I do think that people can love more than one person. Right. I just think that there are degrees.
Right.
Right. And that even if that's the truth, where he did develop some kind of emotional bond or connection, I get that. But you know what? And I don't mean this to sound, you know, funny, but guys have that with other guys all the time. They're just like best friends.
Right.
But it's not sexual. Right. But like literally my high school best friend is still probably my closest friend to this day.
Oh, yeah.
No, for real. I mean, look, we don't sit and talk every day. We don't pass notes to each other anymore or whatever, you know. We don't brag about our conquests or all these different things like we used to do back when we were like teenagers. But that's sort of that bro code, right?
There's baby's dad, right?
Yeah. But there's nothing that he would ask that I wouldn't do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Period. Like literally like a brother or my own brother for that matter. So it's not, so I understand this idea that you have this sort of emotional bond, but when it comes to another woman that's not a relative or something.
Exactly.
Because I know like cousins that are like that, like the male, female, like first cousins.
Yeah.
Nothing inappropriate physically, but they're just tighter than, you know, it's like two pieces of paper with crazy glue. Right?
Exactly.
That's it. It's like one.
Exactly.
So I definitely think that this guy was trying a little too hard to not be an asshole, right?
My thing is, he posted it from his personal account, like his wife wasn't going to find it.
I know. No, this was contrived. That's why he's like a 3 dingleberry asshole. The only reason it's not more, is because he might not have intentionally gone out to look for someone else. it really truly may have just happened
at the work trip. She
right.
was there. He was there.
It just, sparks fly. There's chemistry. So I do believe that there is some weird factor that drives people together sometimes.
Right.
I mean, some relationships are doomed from the start.
Right.
You would never know. Some are going to go on forever. I'll tell you a true story. My very, very, an old friend of mine from high school, Nepo Baby's dad. This is the other, like the third best friend of ours. His name, I don't want to give his name, but anyway, his parents were both, his mom was on a second marriage.
Okay.
She had 2 older sons from her first marriage. When she married my friend's dad, he adopted the 2 others.
Right.
And they were the happiest couple we had ever seen. And every one of us said that. Every one of his friends. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
This was just a happy,
that was his meant to
content, 100%.
Yeah.
They were not well off. Right. They did not live in a big giant house. They did not drive brand new cars, each of them.
That's your soulmate. That's your soulmate.
Exactly right.
That's it.
And like at that point, they lived in an area called Van Nuys. Now it's called Lake Balboa, but it was the same bullshit.
It's not called Van Nuys anymore?
No, there's still Van Nuys.
It's just not called that.
No. There's still Van Nuys, right? And then there's parts of Van Nuys that they now call Lake Balboa because it's like a little bit nicer, so they don't want to say I live in Van Nuys. By the way, where I used to live in West Hills, that's Canoga Park. But people like on the bougier side of Canoga Park are like, yo, we don't want to be called Canoga Park. We're told we're West Hills. Okay. Anyway. But my point is, so all these other, so when it's really truly meant to be, when people really are soulmates,
you'll keep finding each other.
That's right. And the universe has a way of not being wrong, right? Maybe it takes a while.
Yeah.
Right. So if that's really what happened, it's really hard for me to stay that mad.
Yeah.
That's why he's only a 3 dingleberry asshole.
But if they go on like divorce later on, then
but even what I'm saying is like, because the circumstances behind it, I'm going to give the bro a benefit of the doubt and say he wasn't out looking. It just kind of happened.
That's the thing. Yeah. He was at a work thing.
I'm saying I'm going to believe that. Okay. So that's why I'm saying he may not have been able to help it at that point.
And at that point, you start seeing them more. You see them everywhere at work.
Right.
Maybe you didn't even see her before.
Right. Personalities start to meld. Right. But why he is a 3 dingleberry is because the whole, I don't know, I'm just depressed. And it was
you couldn't talk to her.
Right.
You couldn't even communicate.
Oh, and by the way, doing the whole double date thing, that's super douchey. Super douchey.
Make her a birthday basket.
I know, that's stupid.
She's so better than me because even remembering that, Eric, you would have to go get me out of jail.
No, I feel you. I don't know. I'd have a hard time with that too. Like, what do you mean you need me to help you wrap Billy's fucking birthday gift? Right. Who the fuck is it? Right. I get that. Yeah. That's why he's in the dingleberry realm. Because again, otherwise it's just unfortunate. But the heart wants what the heart wants, right?
No, he did some asshole shit on.
Yeah. So all right, okay.
All right. Story number 3.
That was that was a better one.
Okay. Right. This is also a wife and husband. Wife's point of view: the moment my husband suggested a female, male, female, the marriage was over in my heart. So a threesome, but female, male, female. I guess that's what she called it: a female, male, female.
Okay. FMF.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're little threesome, whatever. She said, am I overreacting? Please, I need help sorting out my feelings or maybe controlling them because my emotions are controlling me 100% right now.
That's like literally every woman on the planet. But okay, sorry. Did I say that out loud?
You did.
Oh my God.
In front of a woman.
No. Hold on. When you're hearing the podcast, you're Hurricane. Come on now.
Is that worse?
I mean, I'm just saying, you're like more savage than any or so. All right, but anyway,
that's true.
But okay, just joking. All our female listeners, because out of 4,200 plus, I'm sure we've got some women. So all right,
exactly. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, after making love, my husband and I laid in bed for some afterplay, and he told me that it would be awesome to have a threesome. I kept my cool, but he must have noticed that I stiffened in his arms. My heart was yelling, "This can't be happening. This is so over. This is so over." But my mouth said, I just don't think it's something I would ever want to try. I've been avoiding him like the plague ever since, which is very hard because he's a very affectionate man and always wants to touch, a hug, and a kiss. I don't know if he's noticed anything yet because I have been busy with work and the kids, but he's bound to notice soon. I've only told my best friend and confident about it, but she thinks that I'm being overly sensitive and dramatic. But I swear I'm not playing hard or trying hard. I just can't control my heart, especially when it's playing the same tunes as my brain. I want a divorce on repeat every time I see him. She, my best friend, told me that it was just my pride. He asked you and you said no and you respected that. Please, can I fix this? Anyone with the same experience? I have 3 small children and we share a beautiful life together. So she did 2 updates. Do you have something to say before I do the
No,
updates?
well, I don't know. Is it worth commenting before the updates, or is this going to make it all like different?
Let's get the comments, I think.
Okay.
So hi again. I have a little update here, and I talked to my husband now.
Hi ho.
After him asking him why I was so absorbed in my phone. I told him that I was thinking about his request and how it affected me. He said he noticed me being distant and sad, but that he didn't know how to approach me. We talked a bit more, and I asked him if he still wanted a threesome, and he answered in the affirmative. So I asked him if he had thought of a candidate already. He said yes, that she was actually the one who suggested it. He showed me her Instagram. It was all I could do to not freak out and keep my head cool. I have all the information now, and the ball is in my court, I guess. I commented earlier that I was already having flashbacks to him and a faceless woman, and these flashbacks are haunting me. Now, the woman has a face, and I need to talk to him more. We just talked for a few minutes, but I just couldn't talk anymore. All my being is screaming, give me a divorce. So I'm waiting until I'm less irrational. Then there's update 2.
Okay.
The FMF is happening on Saturday or Sunday, or next Saturday. Afterwards, I'm serving my husband divorce papers. I found out that the woman he had in mind is an ex-coworker, an outspoken Polly who kept being friends with her coworkers from her old job, my husband included. He showed me all of his DMs with her, both in the group chat and private. There's no affair between them, but she's the one who showed an interest in a 3-way with my husband and I because having sex with couples turned her on and thought we were hot. The girl wants a poly boyfriend and my husband only wants to spice things up. Anyways, I'm leaving my husband because I can't control my feelings. He broke me. I'm certainly still not communicating my feelings properly to him, but I'm probably just wired this way. When someone hurts me, I just shut down and shut them out. Now for the female threesome. I'm going to say yes, mostly because I'm curious to see what the fuss is all about. Reading the comments yesterday, you guys made it sound like it's what every man dreams of. I'm intrigued. I want to see the reason my marriage is over. Does this make sense?
No, you stupid fucking slag.
I want to know
None of this makes sense.
Ruining my heart. Another thing is that I want to do something nice for him before leaving since he's so excited. My way of saying goodbye. I told him I'm game and that I wanted it to be over with this weekend. He got excited and tried to kiss me. Forget it. He didn't even notice that I avoided his touch. We spoke to the girl and she thought Saturday was too soon. If we're both first timers, maybe we need to meet her first, etc. She's a pro. I give her that. So we're meeting for drinks on Saturday. Let's not label it, she said. Let's just meet and see how it goes from there. So that's the wife. It did happen though, but that's the wife.
Okay. All right.
That was all the wife.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
I think that this wife is very, very imbalanced.
She's insane.
There's definitely problems. Okay.
Yes.
So, but let me start at the beginning. Okay. So first of all, Billy, the last thing you do when you're in your afterglow, having just
is asking for
having just railed your fucking wife, is bring this up. Yes, lots of men would love to try it. Some men are able to pull it off. Some men just pay for it, whatever. But lots and lots and lots of men want to try that out.
Right.
I don't think that that's an abnormal
request. No.
Well, the request might be a bit abnormal. The fantasy is normal.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
At least you respected it when she said no.
But that's my point. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you blow up your marriage and divorce your husband and split up your family over something he says that is not a completely uncommon request that a lot of men make, just to kind of tip their toe in the water and see? Now, and that's my initial reaction.
Right.
Okay. That I think she overreacted. Now,
because where did divorce come into this?
All of that. Right. And then she's like, look, that's just not something I'd be into. All right. And then he let it go. Okay.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, and let me just say this as a side note, because we've read stories in the past. I don't know how many made it on the podcast or not, but it seems like there's lots more that you can complain about than your husband is loving and affectionate.
Yeah.
Usually marriages, especially after kids, like the sexuality ends.
Yeah, end up as roommates.
Right. And it becomes like a sexless marriage for a long time. And that's a lot of times what drives people apart.
Exactly.
The fact that your husband is still that attracted to you and into you, you should take that as a compliment. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's number two. Number three, again, timing was the worst ever.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know how you really bring it up, but Billy, in the future, if you're going to ever broach this again, now I understand that I guess it happened, so we'll hear about the result, the aftermath, but just for all the other Billies out there, okay? First of all, definitely say, hey, I have some coworker that keeps bugging me about this. Apparently she thinks that we as a couple are hot. crazy, right? What do you think?
Exactly.
And just start off like you're not really into it as much,
and see their reaction,
right?
Because if your wife is like, "Oh,
ew, I know,"
okay.
yeah, like, hey, I need to stop hanging out for lunch.
Yeah.
But if she's like, oh, I don't know what she look like, or like, oh, okay, well, this is who she is.
Exactly.
Okay. So now that we've put the pro tips aside, I think she's
nuts,
positively out of her fucking mind. And then the idea that, all right, well, I'm going to give it to him because that's my way of saying goodbye and fuck off. Mm-hmm. Why? So the truth of the matter is likely, and again, I haven't heard the second half, right? But the truth of the matter is likely that she's probably more into it than she wants to admit. Okay. That she probably is taking this in a flatteringly way, right?
Exactly.
Because, she thinks we're both hot and all that kind of, whatever. And, and she's trying to pretend like she's repulsed by this and she's going to pack her shit and go. And this is I'm not going to be pushed around by Billy. And this is like, I don't know, stupid on so many levels.
The worst part to me.
Yeah.
She admitted there was no affair.
Yeah.
Nothing ever happened. There was no emotion.
This was just a dumb comment at the worst time imaginable.
Exactly.
But the reaction is disproportionate.
Oh, I don't know where, even divorce. She said, I want to divorce him every time I see him. Where did that come from?
Yeah, that's what I mean. And like every time, like, oh,
it would have been different and he was pushing her and pushing her and pushing her to do it. But she didn't. So I don't know.
It's just wrong. I mean, I think, again, I get that she's upset. Right. And especially if he's like thinking hard about this.
Exactly.
But we don't know. Does he bring it up like every other day? Does he keep pushing it?
Well, she said they didn't even talk.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, it just sounds more and more like she just became obsessed with it herself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So far I'm going to say a 3.5 dingleberry asshole, especially because now they have little kids and these kids are going to potentially suffer over this.
Right.
So,
okay.
All right.
Husband's point of view.
All right.
My wife and I had a 3-way yesterday with a woman that I know.
Oh.
It was terrible, to tell you the truth. My wife was so awkward and she refused to even take off her nightgown, amongst other things.
Oh, God.
She never looked at me once and refused to let me touch or kiss her. The girl, female 29, we had was more relaxed and she tried to make my wife get comfortable. My wife was more receptive to her advances than to me. She is just a very shy person. Oh, sorry, my screen moved. I like zoomed in and I can't read. There you go. All right. Anyways, halfway, she just took a more passive role and didn't even let the girl touch her. This morning, she told me that the marriage is over and that she wanted a divorce. I asked her if it was because of yesterday, and she said yes. I asked her why she didn't tell me that she didn't want a 3-way, if she hated it so much, and that if it was going to end our marriage, I would have said no. She said our marriage ended the day I suggested the 3-way to her, and she just wanted to see if it was worth breaking her heart, and said, I hope it was worth it for you. Of course it wasn't fucking worth it. I would have forgot all about it if she said she didn't want it. She says she did say that she wasn't into having other people when I first suggested it, and I respected that. But then she changed her mind and agreed. My wife and family are way more important to me than any 3-way. If she didn't want it, I would have never brought it up again. I feel played. What do you fucking say to a woman like that? I fucking love her, and I don't want to live without her. But she has asked me to move out tomorrow. P.S. Thank you for sending me my wife's post. I guess someone sent it to her. He said, am I overreacting? The other one reads blank. I don't know how to include the post, but I have read them, and I alone have ruined my life. I broke my wife's heart. And then he has an edit.
Okay.
I know I'm 100% wrong here and that I fucked up completely and I ruined my life and broke my girl's heart. What she did is so fucked up to me as well. It's just so fucked up that she never once communicated to me how she felt. Her husband. I asked her once and she decided to divorce me and that was it. And she pretended everything was cool between us until she told me. If she, and like this is all caps, bold, if she had told me that the threesome is a deal breaker, I would have never asked her again. I repeat, if she would have told me it was a deal breaker, I wouldn't have told me. She could have told me that it broke her heart. I wouldn't have done anything to try and mend. I would have tried to done anything to try to mend it, but she was just so calm and collective about it. None of you live with us to see my point of view, and no one can see how fucked up this is. I know I should have been more attentive during the 3-way. I wasn't, and I regret it bitterly. It's my first, and it got confused because she was the one who brought it up, and then after divorced me. I don't know what to do, but here's my side of the story.
Well, I mean, I don't think the analysis changes all that much.
Right.
I mean,
well, he really thinks he's the biggest asshole.
No, he is a tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
Right? He's like a 3/4 dingleberry. Again, timing was just the worst possible timing. Yeah. And I guess if I think about it, I can understand, especially if wifey has maybe some self-esteem issues.
Right, right.
And it's like, well, we just finished making love or having sex, and the first thing he says in our cuddling is, Hey,
you know what'd be cool?
Right. What do you think if we, we ask Angie to, to join us or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that was probably pretty insensitive.
Exactly.
Again, I don't think it was meant to crush everybody's hopes and dreams here.
No. Like he said, I'm not going to give up my whole marriage over this one request.
Of course.
Said no.
Well, and she kind of did in the beginning, and it seemed like she was the one that sort of brought it back up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I maybe in a weird way, this gives him much more information about who she is and what she's about. This was a disaster waiting to happen at every level.
Yeah.
Right. And then this idea where she didn't want to get down with the other girl. But that doesn't shock me, because if somebody's already not that willing and they kind of feel, because you could tell she felt forced or, and then it became like, I'm going to do this only out of spite.
Exactly.
Which to me doesn't make sense at all.
At all.
Right. You're going to go muff diving. So out of spite? No, if anything, you're just going to make it better.
Exactly.
The spiteful thing actually was like, oh, are we all ready? Yeah, I'm not going to participate.
That would have been better. Yep.
Well, that's what I mean. Like cut it off at the last minute. Like, yeah, you know what?
And actually hear the divorce papers.
Yeah.
That would have been a little better.
Right. Like, you know what?
We went through with it.
Right. Because maybe she was waiting for Billy to be like, you know what? We had drinks.
That's why she was.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. Mm-hmm. I think that if they had gone to meet for drinks and they got home and she was like, you know what? I don't really want to do this. Mm-hmm. I'm so content with you and us and our kids.
That's what she wanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't shock me that a guy was too stupid to think about that, because we often think with different parts of our body.
His female,
right?
Female.
He was going to get, right. He was getting that desire met. Right. But guess what, Billy? The bright side is now you can just pay for it and get it what it's supposed to have been like.
Exactly.
Right. But yeah, the wifey is a 4 dingleberry now.
And husband?
Husband, well, 1.
Okay.
Just a 1. Again.
Okay.
It really was the timing. He was, and honestly, he was probably being honest at the time. Like, have you ever thought, because I'm thinking about,
Exactly.
Everybody thinks about that. Every guy, I should say,
thought,
every guy thinks about that. Okay. And you know how, by the way, pro tip to our female listeners, I don't know how many there are, but for those out there, if you're in a loving, committed relationship and your man says to you, hey, Lucinda, how would you think about, would you consider, I wonder if the client here already, I don't know. Well, hold on. We'll find out in a second. But anyway, if the man says, hey, yo, Lucinda, what would you think about,
right.
Let's find like another Lucinda, the best reaction would be like, sure. Just as soon as you ask Archie to join us, then I'll have Angie.
Exactly.
That ends it there, right? No more, right?
Or there's a lot people have said like, or you could just ask back like, okay, well, will you be okay if it's me, you, and another guy?
Right.
Do your
Same idea.
but then also the guy, and they'll be like, oh no.
Look, the whole point is if you make it like tit for tat. Yes, I use that pun on purpose. They tit for tat. It's good for the goose. It's good for the gander. You ever heard that saying? What's good for the goose? Okay, so I can't use his name, but I had this Israeli client. Okay, who like desperately tried to be like a hip American. Nice. This is the guy that owned the business that sent his receptionist home one day to buy like a skirt and heels, like she could dress a certain way. He used to say to me in the most fucked up accent, "No, Eric, what is good for the goose is good for the chicken."
God,
and that's what the chicken, because he didn't know what a gander is. He didn't understand.
He made it up his own. He was like, "I'm gonna understand what I'm saying."
So that's what he went with. And he was so legit about the way he would put it, right? And I try every time he had that high pitched, heavy accent. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the chicken.
Oh my God.
So,
that's what it is.
That's what this is all about.
It is.
That's it. Nothing more.
Okay. Story number 4.
All right.
This one's the wife's point of view, and her title is, I'm going to divorce my husband of 10 years.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Okay. You go, Billy and Lucinda.
Okay. My husband and I met when I was 18. It had always just been me and my best friend, but when my husband came along, we became the inseparable trio. For me, it was love at first sight. I had the biggest crush on him, but I didn't want to ruin the friendship thing we all had, so I kept it to myself until he confessed to me when we were like 20. Things went fast, and we got married when we were 22. My best friend got married too, and we have all just remained close. We had invited my best friend and her husband around for dinner, and we were joking about things we got up to, and my husband brought up how he had always had a crush on my best friend, but then she got a boyfriend, so he settled for me instead.
Oh, that's kind of a fucked up thing to say when you use words like settled for, but
yeah.
Okay.
When I tell you my whole world just came crashing down. I realized my marriage of 10 years was him settling for second best. I was never his first option. After that, he did just After that, everything he did just started to annoy me, and he just stopped being attractive to me anymore. We haven't slept together in 6 months because I feel so disgusted. I just want out. I feel like I've wasted my life. I'm disappointed in him and myself for believing I was the one he liked. So there's an edit. Do you want to read the updates?
Yeah, go ahead.
Husband knows about the divorce now. I told my best friend, and she told my husband. I don't know why she would tell them, but whatever.
Why tell her best friend?
Exactly.
Right, okay. All right,
so I come home to a don't leave him intervention where all they wanted to do was work it out and talk to me. I have never been so confused because for the past 6 months, I've been trying to ask him what he feels and what he meant by that comment and to answer my questions, like literally to the point that I have screamed it in his face to just tell me. And he's been saying nothing. And she has been encouraging me to talk to him, but keeping her distance. I thought it was because she didn't like him. Apparently, she just thinks we are perfect together and he doesn't want to lose what we have. What do we have? We are basically roommates who have sex at this point. Okay, this is the last update. Okay, so pretty major update that I said I wouldn't do, but I am not a man of my word and never said I was. Today I got a message from my boyfriend's husband asking me where she was, and I had no idea because I'm at my mother's house. Can we guess where she was? She was at my fucking house with my fucking husband. What weird fucking universe am I living in? Anyway, so yeah, I'm leaving and taking all my stuff with me. My mom will just have to put up with me for a while. Divorce is definitely happening now, and I'm going to get therapy. That's the wife's side.
Okay. We don't know if wifey's best friend went there to try to console him because he's divorcing.
Right.
Or if she went for a hookup.
Right.
Okay.
But just from what we read, what do you think right now?
I am probably naive.
Right.
Okay. And I take best friendships very seriously. Mm-hmm. Now, I never had a crush on Nepo Baby's mom.
Right.
Right. So it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I could easily see myself going to console either one of them.
Right.
Right. Okay.
But after they said they had a crush on you.
Yeah, I understand. But
they settled for your best friend.
I know. But I mean, it's still kind of like, I feel like, Lucinda's reaction is a little over the top.
Yeah.
Look, Billy was stupid to say that at the onset. Okay. And when you use words like I settled for, that absolutely is, even if it wasn't consciously done, those are intentional words.
It sticks with you.
Right? Because there's other ways to say things like, for example, I didn't realize that we were actually meant to be. I thought my heart belonged to somebody else until I met you. Mm-hmm. That's how you can segue.
Oh, nicer, yeah.
Right. You can segue into that conversation. Right.
But so just outright in front of everybody.
Well, and by the way, very few people end up with that first love of theirs. Right. We move on and, look, there's so many, I mean, it's an interesting one because I don't feel like there were bad intentions. Now I'll hear the other side of it in a minute, but so far, again, from this perspective, it sounds like the husband maybe just thought it was time to confess.
Maybe.
That maybe it was sort of fair, fair game at this point.
Right.
Where both are married or both are with each other now. Right. Like, okay, that was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And maybe he needed to sort of deal with those and flush out those feelings, in order to
feel better.
Yeah. Or just sort of move on for sure.
Yeah.
Right? Put the past behind him. I don't think he expected that kind of reaction.
Probably not.
And does it go from 0 to divorce like in 10 seconds? It seems like there's a lot of very reactionary people. Right?
Divorce.
Right. Knee-jerk reaction. Right. That's it.
Yep.
Like there was an old movie called Goodfellas. Mm-hmm. Right. And one of the characters played by Joe Pesci was basically like insane. At a snap of a finger could just go crazy on someone. And there was a scene where like his date for that night was talking to some of the other women that were there with their dates and they're just the girls.
Right.
And she was like, yeah, this one, Tommy, I just look at somebody the wrong way and, kill me.
Oh my God.
Right. Like, but so you go from like 0 to kill you. Right.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of like 0 for divorce.
Yep.
I mean, and he said it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
It's not like he secretly confessed like,
no.
Hey, Angie, I just want you to know that if I wasn't married to Lucinda,
it was always you.
Right. It was always supposed to be you. It's not like he did that, right? He was like at an open dinner. Like everybody knows each other. So
exactly.
So I see, like, by the way, just so you understand, fam, the fucking smile on her face. I bet you the other side of this is going to be, all right, go ahead.
All right. Husband's point of view. Title is, I destroyed my marriage with a stupid comment in a one-night stand.
Okay.
So I found my wife's post that I'm going to divorce my husband of 10 years. Someone made a video about it and the video got back to me. I would like to tell my side. When I met my wife,
did he make a video?
No, he didn't.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know.
Never mind. Because that would have been better.
At first.
Like, Lucinda, as long as we're going to divorce, why don't you look at how it should have been, right? Take some fucking lessons for the next guy that you're going to bore to death. Sorry. Guys. Oh my, a little bitter. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, let's continue.
All right.
When I met my wife, I didn't really think much of her. She was funny, kind, and a good friend, but I had no other interest in her. Her friend, Sarah, was gorgeous. She had long red hair and these soft freckles and long eyelashes. She was my dream girl, but she was not interested in me. I noticed that my wife, Amber, was hanging out with me more, laughing at my jokes, listening to me, and it made me consider having more of a relationship with her. Sarah got a boyfriend about a year into us being friends, and her interest in our friendship group dwindled. She hung out with us less and spent more time with her boyfriend, which left me and Amber alone a lot.
By the way, that's very normal.
Yeah, exactly.
That happens with friends that get girlfriends all the time. But go ahead.
I ended up giving up on Sarah and focusing on Amber. We started dating and got married. We kept our friendship with Sarah, but we focused on each other. In the back of my mind, though, it always felt like I had missed out on something. My marriage was boring. Amber and I were basically friends, and I was working hard to save for a house, and she was working hard to save for future kids. So we were existing alongside each other, not actually together. So one day when we were at dinner, I got jealous of Sarah and her husband, who seemed happy, and I made the comment about settling for Amber. Amber shut down after that. She kept repeating the same questions over and over, and it would make me so angry that I didn't want to answer. So I didn't. I guess that was my first bad mood. Sarah messaged me after dinner to check if I was okay, and we kept messaging after that. She was just reassuring me that I did nothing wrong, and it would work out. Then I got a text saying Amber was planning to divorce me. So Sarah came over and we tried to stop her from leaving me, but it seemed to only make things worse. Sarah saw how distraught I was and stayed to comfort me, and we drank, and in a drunk, stupid mistake, we ended up sleeping together. Sarah confessed to her husband that we slept together, and her husband told Amber. Now both of our marriages are ruined, and I regret it so much, I just wish I could take it all back. There it is. That's the full story, guys.
Okay. Well, it doesn't change too much as far as, the initial,
right.
Yeah, you fucked up. What this tells me, though, is that this might have been truly repressed feelings coming out.
From both sides, maybe. Too.
Yeah. And maybe this is a blessing in disguise.
It could be.
Maybe that they really are soulmates, or the universe is righting a wrong.
Right.
And maybe putting them together. Mm-hmm. Look, it sucks that it's happening this way, right? And divorce is no fun, and it's certainly not cheap. And, there's lots that go with it.
Exactly.
Trust me. But I can tell you, though, that if that were the case, right? And it would be much, much worse if it stopped at the one night. They both confessed, blows everything up, and neither can be together either.
Exactly.
If it was more a realization that they truly are meant for each other and they really are in love and it's a deep emotional connection,
right?
Then, okay, I guess it was meant to be. It doesn't make it better.
It doesn't.
But it already happened. So I would say and by the way, Sarah's the friend, redhead?
Sarah's the redhead. Amber's the wife. Or was the wife.
I have been told, I don't know for sure because I've never been with a redhead, but I've been told that they're like wild, crazy.
I've heard that actually,
Those Irish fiery redheads. So you know what, buddy? You might have just stumbled into a fucking solar field of sunshine.
Yeah. And 2 marriages gone.
Right. And you know what? Just grab on and don't let it go.
Exactly.
That's all I can say.
Maybe he can finally get Sarah now. If her
he already had her.
Exactly. Well, no, have her as a wife.
Maybe what he can do is what Billy didn't do last time, and then now try to introduce a whole threesome thing, like best friends. Like, everybody knows each other here.
They're friends anymore. After
I'm just saying, because if it were me, I'd be like, look, Lucinda, you and I have done it, and Sarah, now you and I have done it. So now all 3 of us.
So like a sister wives thing,
right?
No,
best of both. I'm just saying, look, buddy, you're going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, just trying to help.
All right, last story.
All right, last one.
This one made me laugh.
By the way, I just want to say I kind of appreciate and like the creativity you exhibited on this one.
Oh, thank you.
Doing like the both sides and the updates.
It took a while to
because we always say that these are always written in a very one-sided perspective. So it's actually kind of good. That first one especially was
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right.
This one has 3 parts.
Oh boy. All right.
3 people commented.
3.
This is the wife's point of view. Am I the asshole for asking my fiance to spend money he saved for a vacation for his parents? Okay. My fiance and I are in the process of buying a house. We've started by getting in contact with the lender to determine what we could afford. We had to submit bank account information, and I found out that he has almost 20 grand saved to send to his mom and dad on a European vacation. This is money that we we could use to go towards our future house. So we don't have to have mortgage insurance. I told him this, so did the lender. His response was that he's already promised this money to his parents for whenever they are ready to take the trip. So he's not putting it towards a down payment. When we sat down to talk about this, I asked him to reconsider because when I talked to his mom, she said she doesn't feel quite safe yet to travel anyways because his dad is recovering from a cancer treatment. She said that she'd probably want to wait another year or so. My fiance was so upset that I went behind his back and talked to his mom without him.
Yeah, he's right.
He said it wasn't a conversation I should have with her without talking to him first.
100%.
He said he's doubtly upset because he's already going to be the one that puts the most towards our house and he's paying the mortgage each month. So I don't even have any right asking him to spend more money that he's been trying to save to send his disabled parents on their dream vacation they otherwise couldn't afford.
The logic's not correct, but the outcome is the same.
Right.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I talked to my family and friends about this, and they all seem to agree that he should be willing to spend the money on our future house. When I talk to our mutual friends, though, they all say I'm being an asshole because he's been poor almost his entire life and just wants to do something nice for his family. I get that, but you shouldn't be putting a vacation before our future home. And today we were supposed to go look for some houses together, but he said he wasn't in the mood because I'm pressuring him about that money. Okay, so that's her. Let's hear it. That's all of hers.
Okay. I look, I understand her perspective. I do. The argument that, well, we won't have to pay for the mortgage insurance has some validity, but that's more of an excuse.
Right.
This is really more about having maybe a slightly better house.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, or having more to put down.
Yeah.
Right. So that they can afford more or buy a little bit more of an upgraded property. I'm guessing.
Right.
When she brought up that the dad finished a cancer treatment recently, I'm guessing that maybe this was something they'd always wanted to do, like take a trip.
Sorry. I don't know if you want to. Okay.
And then after they realized that with the cancer, he almost didn't make it at all. I think it's all the more reason, for Sonny to kind of stick to that commitment.
Like I said, like he was poor his whole life. He was doing something nice for his family.
Yeah. And by the way, lots of children do that. They're raised in poverty, but by loving, stable parents, they succeed later in life. They're given the things that their parents didn't have, and they want to repay it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, we hear that like professional athletes buy their parents houses and stuff all the time, cars, whatever. Okay, in this case, he wants to now. This idea that he's like, well, I'm paying the mortgage and I'm putting most of it in, and I understand you feel like you need to justify your position by saying stuff like that.
Right.
But when you're in a marriage, it's not really right. You can't look at it like that. Okay. Every little bit helps and whatever. Okay. It doesn't matter if your salary covers 80% and hers only covers 20%, because the 80% of your salary that pays the mortgage, that means that she's buying some of the groceries or other stuff.
Everyone contributes.
Right. And even if she doesn't spend a dime, let me make this clear.
You decided to marry her.
Well, no, that's not what I was going to say. I appreciate girl power. If you want to keep getting it on the regular,
that's
okay. Sorry, you need to not say stupid shit like that. Like, look, I pay for all this. No, because what you're going to end up doing is paying a lot more for a lot less.
Exactly.
Right. If you say stupid shit like that. So Billy, that was not that's why I said the logic was wrong. Right.
Logan.
Whatever. They're all Billy. Whatever. Okay. Logan. That's probably a real name too, because not a lot of people are,
we found this out from the other poster.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's right. All right. So let me hear update number 2. So that's Logan's perspective.
No, that's was the
White. That's Lucinda. Sorry. Okay. That's Lucinda. Okay.
Next POV is a friend. Friend found this. Friend commented.
Okay.
Friend's POV. Yes, the asshole. I think I know who you are, and there's a lot that you're leaving out that makes you look even worse than you already do. Ooh. So let me add some facts. 1, his parents didn't know how much money he had saved for that trip. That was supposed to be their surprise, and you ruined that. 2, that vacation they otherwise can't afford was originally going to be their honeymoon, but they found out they were pregnant with your fiance and they canceled it. This is your fiance giving them that honeymoon back. 3, you've been known that he's planning this trip since you've met him. The only new information is how much money he has saved. That part you didn't know. And 4, when you quoted, he puts the most towards the house and will be paying the mortgage each month is an understatement. He pays all of the utilities, the current rent, your cell phone, etc. You don't pay for anything and brag about how he treats you well often. And then he said, I will be sending this to Logan just for your
okay. Knowledge. So it doesn't change too much. I mean, so Lucinda might have gone from a 3 dingleberry to 3.5.
From the honeymoon thing?
Right. Yeah. I mean, because that makes a bit of a different night. But again, it's a sentimental reason.
Right.
It's not logic. It's just, I want to do this. You know, look, mom and dad played around apparently and had their shotgun wedding and whatever.
Yeah.
And, okay. But the motivation of, hey, I want to give this to you because you never had it because you gave birth to me. It's actually a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
And like cunty Belinda or whatever, Lucinda, the fuck are you doing?
Exactly.
It didn't matter that she doesn't pay for anything. I don't know. Again, that can always be somewhat of an exaggeration. Yeah. And you can't put monetary value on certain things like if she keeps their home and, you know, handles all the stuff and, you know.
Right.
There's value to all of that. Like when people live a life together, it's together. Okay. Yeah. So I don't place monetary values one way or another, but knowing all of that information and still coming out like, you know, I don't understand. No, fuck off.
All right. You ready for Logan's?
Yeah. Let's hear what Logan has to say.
Okay. He said, I asked you to stop bothering me about this and you decided to post about it on the internet and lie. For what? Oh. I was already upset, but reading these comments has made a lot of things clear. Here's the truth for everyone. This is not about the PMI. I told you what my price range was. You were upset because you can't get your dream home in that range.
I knew it.
You want me to put that money down to qualify for a mortgage that I can't afford / don't want to pay. And that's when you found out how much money I have saved up for my parents' vacation. A vacation you knew about from our first date. You haven't at any point offered to contribute your savings towards buying a house. Instead, your response was to go tell my mom and tell her that my plans to send them to Europe were making it impossible for us to buy a house. This is exactly what she told my mom, and that's not true at all. My mom called me crying because she felt that she was holding us back from having our dream house. Since you aren't home in the apartment you've never paid a cent towards, by the way, and aren't answering my calls, I'm hoping you read this. We need to talk so we can get a divorce. That was the end of it.
Yeah, so Lucinda's a 5 dingleberry now.
She went up.
Oh, yeah, she did. But I knew that. Yeah. I had a feeling it was because she just wanted a better house, right? But now hearing all of that and making the mom cry and
telling her you're setting us back because your son's sending you on vacation.
Bullshit. That was
imagine someone telling your mom that, Eric.
No, because I would lose my fucking mind.
Me too.
That is gaslighting at the highest level.
That's why I left it for us.
Yeah, that is so savage.
Yep.
That's not even like gangster in a funny way.
No.
That is, I mean, you just made an elderly couple feel terrible
that their son is wanting to do a beautiful thing for them,
right? And now he can't advance himself somehow. And yeah, you're lucky that you're doing this now before you own the house, so she can't get half.
Exactly.
And yeah, broom her to the curb. Sorry, that's crazy.
Yeah, this one had 3 sides, and you see this.
I kind of, you know what? I had a little bit of fun today with this episode.
I'm glad.
There was a lot more.
We never get to see both sides. We never get to see, you know, the full story. Even if this might not be the full story, but we get people's perspectives that were there.
I like the friend that jumped in and she's like, you know, was like, yo, the internet world, there's a bit more you need to know here.
Exactly. And I'm sending this to Logan.
Yeah. Let me just tell you before we wrap up, there's still one thing that I'm not completely, like I haven't completely wrapped my mind around, and that is why people need to confess to Reddit every fucking thing.
I know.
Like at some point, you know what? Talk to a therapist, a priest, your rabbi, your best friend.
Like,
why would you go to like the fucking randos of the internet? Right?
I've never been in a situation where I'm like, let me go ask Reddit what they think.
Not just that, but look, and I consider myself fairly creative. I'd probably find a good way to like hide who I really am. But at some point, certain facts and details are going to make it very easy. Okay.
Exactly.
Like fucking Bethany or whatever her name was, the fucking Navy wife with the fucking mixed kid.
Oh,
Hannibal.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? All right. That's what I mean. Like you could pick 3 out of those 30 details and you know exactly who this is.
Exactly.
So
adopted brother.
Right.
A Navy boyfriend.
Adopted mixed race.
Hannibal.
Right. Adopted mixed race brother. Pregnant with a mixed race kid. Husband in the Navy, right? And a name like Hannibal.
You can't.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
There is no 2 people that fit those clues. Nope. Only one.
Yep.
So, all right. Hurricane. Tell them where they can find us.
All right, guys. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate all the support. Remember, you can find us on Instagram at The Bensama Confirm and on our pod Instagram at The Late Podcast. Our Twitter and TikTok is at The Bensama Confirm. You can visit our website at eblaughing.us. You can email us at info@eblaughing.us. Bye, guys.
Bye.